we couldn't have been in a home that was treated any better than McCleave's.
That's right. I would like to leave this as commemorative to the McCleave family. They were wonderful people. They fought like fury among themselves, but they treated me fine. I never had but one problem. I smacked Marion one time for something, and Henry was going to take it up, and I took care of that real quick.
That was his brother-in-law.
And in-law.
And we never did, and I wouldn't have done it again if it was over, if he hadn't laid hands on me.
But tell how they treated me to get Marion to call me mother.
They had, they taught Marion to call Esther mother after we were married.
How long did McCleaves keep him as a little, from a baby until when?
Yeah, we stayed there till we were married. And then
see, we was married the 19th of December, and then he came down to live with us in January.
I'm thinking around the 15th of
So a month
January.
after you were married, he came to live with us.
After Christmas and all.
And the things had, I had, Mom, Mary asked me not to take Marion away from Mom. And if things hadn't changed, I think we would have. But May had married and divorced, and she had a boy about just a little younger than Marion, and they would have had to live there together.
And you think it's too much on your grandma?
Yes, and I think Mom was more reconciled to that after that happened. However, Mom reprimanded me because I didn't keep my word, but afterwards I think she was glad that.
Well, she said she was. She
Yeah,
knew it was for the best.
And she thought the world of Esther. Every time she'd make the girls a dress, she'd make Esther one. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
And
well, when they came down to see us after we had Marion down there, you know, and I felt sort of odd to have him call me mother, just being married, and I told him to call me Esther. And when Mom and Grover come down and he called me Esther, Mom, she couldn't stand it. She said, "Oh no, we can't have that." She said, "Now you're his mother. You're taking care of him." And she told Marion, she said, "Now I want you to call her mother, and when you do, I'll get you your first long pair of pants." He used to wear these little short pants, you know. And sure enough, she had a suit made for him. Desi Fielder, you remember her up there? She made that suit for him. And when she came down, she brought that. And of course, he's called her mother ever since.
I know we went for years, I guess, until Grandma McCleave died, and we always went up there every year for
Christmas.
And
She always got a big kick out of it. She'd have a stocking fixed, you know, hanging on when you was just little in the beds and out when yes.
I never showed as much affection for them as I should have. But I know they knew that.
They knew later, in later years, I know they knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, they was great people.
Because y'all were close.
And Aunt May, she loves to keep the family together. She just thinks there's nobody like our family now. She just, if she could be down here today, she would be.
but she still lives in
She's in Palestine.
Palestine?
Yes, she loves to keep the family together, and she just, she's a great Aunt May.
Yeah, she wasn't much of a girl, but she turned out to be a pretty good woman.
Well, what else did you have, Leslie?
Oh, let's see. When was the hardest or the most frustrating part of your life?
I suppose I would have to say before we left Canada.
When you left Canada?
I would say so, yes, because we didn't have it. We had no home to go to, and of course I had no mother, and never had mother died. Dad married. I didn't mention that, but Dad married was, I expect I was maybe 4.5 years old. And he married his, let's see, he married his sister to his brother-in-law that married one of his sisters. And she wasn't too much, and Vivian and her didn't get along at all. Now couldn't rightfully say she ever mistreated me in the least. And but I was the youngest.
Was that Poach?
And Cleo, they mistreated her too. And just as soon as she got old enough to go out and work for somebody, she did. And Dad had shop corn up north and worked up there, and he knew a family, and they needed somebody to help them, and Cleo went up there. And I remember Cleo got me a pair of first pair of slippers I ever owned, and they were too big, and they were sorry deal, but she was trying, you know. And
wasn't that Poach?
uh-huh.
Isn't she the one that
Her name was Ida McCoy, but they called her Poach.
wasn't she the one that Vivian had played the trick on about putting her bread underneath the table to get her to cut the first loaf of bread?
We both did that.
Well,
Tell about that.
How she did.
She never would cut her bread fresh, and we had supper this particular night, and she baked that day. I don't remember how often she had to bake a week for it, but when you didn't have any place to keep bread, only just in a box or something like that, so it didn't last too long. So she had to bake pretty often. But she used the last scrap of bread she could find, and we still were hungry. And finally she got the bread. And then later on she found the bread where we stuck it under
the table.
There was
A ledge on it?
yeah, a ledge on the table.
So you could get fresh bread.
And she, instead of cutting it, she'd just
Tear it
take
off?
a loaf and tear off a piece of it. She couldn't understand where all that bread was going to.
Imagine.
Well, what was it happened when Vivian had the measles or something?
Yeah, she.
Vivian was the one that's always the
She had
visitor.
pneumonia.
Oh, pneumonia.
She, they had turkeys, and turkeys hide out and had their nests, and it was a wet time in the spring, and she dispatched Vivian to find these old turkey hen nests. All she could do just go get in a place where she could hide, hide from the old turkeys and just follow them along. And she took pneumonia, and she got sick enough, put her to bed, and Dad called the doctor, and he came down and gave her medicine, and she went to bed the next morning, and he come down, and after a couple, 3 days, and the medicine was getting going, but Dad was working on I believe on a hay baler, something like that, maybe in the timber, and the doctor said, told Dad I want to talk to him, and followed him out. He said, "No, this girl's not getting this medicine." Well, I said, "She is." He said, I give it to her when I'm at home and I'm working. Well, they said, "I think you better stay at home and stay and give her the medicine." He said, "She's not responding to this medicine. She should be. She's going downhill." So he did, and that was one of the worst rifts between her and him, because she undoubtedly wasn't giving him the medicine. A little bit more, she would have died.
Mm.
And
Well,
but she was. I'll have to say she was a good mother to me. I know she used money pretty wisely, because they didn't have very much, but Dad worked like a dog to keep that going.
When were you maybe the most frightened, Basil? Do you remember any time that you were really scared?
I don't know. I'm not sure few runaways. And
Probably when you were picking corn. That's
that
probably
didn't-
pretty frightening.
That didn't affect
It didn't?
me. I don't think.
Why don't you tell about how you got your hook? What year it was? And
Yeah,
what,
and I get to.
I was here with
Oh,
Les.
yes.
The year Les
In,
was born.
in the year of 1956, during corn harvest, I got my left hand caught in the rolls on the corn picker, and had to have it amputated. And
Rex was with you.
I've got along, yeah.
It's been
I
over.
got along very well with it. I have no complaints, and no complications. But it hasn't been as easy,
No.
I'm sure. I couldn't go back and say how much easier it would have been if I'd had another hand, but I did most of my, what I got a hold of in the years. I got by working, not by using my head very much, because I wasn't too smart.
I don't agree with that.
I would just like to say that we, in 1967, 6 or 7, we bought 90 acres of land on the Sumner Chancey Road, and that's where we moved at our retirement from the Prairie King Farm. And we have our family home with us quite a lot. And in fact, Bob and one daughter, and his wife and one daughter are with us now. This time we're taking it, and we always like to see them coming. We never have got tired of them, have we, Bob?
No. Have you got any more questions?
Grandpa, what if you were to tell me something about your life and what you've learned in your life that you think might help me in my life, or what kind of advice would you give me?
Well, do like I did. I guess naturally, I'm glad for the fact that you trust in the Lord, and that is the one thing I would say that you need to do more than anything else, is keep your hand in God's hand. But you might do like I did, follow my example. That way, find you a good man, like I found a good woman, and that is the best thing you can do.
Well, that just about wraps it up.
So all of you out there in TV land, start looking for Leslie.
Well, is anything else anyone wants to bring up right now? We'll add on to this later, and we'll get a chance to talk to Mother a little bit later. Probably Rex.
You have the time in there, don't you?
Yes, plenty.
Well, why don't you?
So it'll be no trouble to figure out how ages.
So for right now, it's looks like about 2:53 p.m. and that's Eastern time. It's only 1:53 here in Illinois, and it's the first day of July. And as Leslie is saying, like Lisa said,
Bye.
Wait,
wave
Grandpa.
bye, Don.
Yeah.
So we'll cut this off for a little while.
Got Grandpa in his nose.
There we go. Daddy, you want to continue on where we left off? Then?
Yeah, Leslie asked me during the time I was talking about what I would say the high point of my life had been, and I was thinking along the lines of just natural things. I wasn't saying it didn't come to my mind about, but no doubt the highest point in my life was when I got saved, and I think, and I can see it bringing forth fruit as we've gone along, children all saved, and that makes a lot of difference, I tell you.
Well, tell where that is.
And
White Oak. White Oak.
yeah, I got saved at White Oak Church when I was up at, I was just shortly after Mary and I were married. And like I said up there tonight, and I didn't have a very deep experience, but I had enough to make me want to dig for more. And we got down here, and this is what I was looking for. One time, as I was I picked up some literature somewhere, and it had a picture on the front of it. It showed the lion and the lamb, and it said the lion shall lay down with the lamb. You know, I never heard scripture like that. Well, in fact, I never read the Bible, and I began from there and began to look those things up and began to look up some of the prophecy, and then over the years I went making quite a little study of the Bible. In the last few years I've neglected it terribly because I can't remember anything from the kind of overnight. So along with the help I had from other people, and I would say the other people were mother's folks and the McCoy family. That it was a big help in getting us started. It's been where we are today, which is not too far up the ladder, but it's a lot better than being under the ladder.
Well, we had a long ladder.
Yeah, that's right. A long one.
Well, yes, we got a.
You have anything to say now?
Nobody's asked me anything yet. I'm waiting to be asked questions.
Oh, you're gonna just be.
Might just start off, Mother, and
I'm not one to.
tell a little bit about where you originated from, and a little bit about the family and your mom and dad.
Well, I was born in Crawford County, real close to Annapolis, Illinois. That's northwest of Robb.